Okay, today I'm going to be going over some fights that I want to be made after UFC 307. Some matchups that I think are perfect going forward and that I want to see more than any other matchup. I'm not going to be going over every fighter on UFC 307 and not even every fighter on the main card. Mario Batista does not get any attention ever again. Never again. I hate him. He will not get a matchup made on this card or on this video. So, glitchy time again. We'll start it off with Pereira and Ankalaev. I would like to see Pereira go up to heavyweight and fight Aspinall. That is the end goal. That's the biggest fight of all time. But he does have to get past Ankalaev to justify that. And he really wants to stay at light heavyweight for at least a couple more fights, I would think. But Ankalaev is the last one at light heavyweight that anyone can be like, oh, he would lose to him though. This is the last one. After this, he doesn't lose to anybody. Then he can go up to heavyweight. Then Dana White can stop being so lame about Pereira not going for triple champ status. That's the sickest shit ever. Also, Pereira's their biggest star and their biggest asset. So what the give him a super fight. But yeah, Magomed Ankalaev should get the next fight. He deserves it also. He's probably going to beat Rakic. I actually think I might pick Rakic, actually. I like Rakic's chances. If Rakic does win, send Pereira to heavyweight. Rakic doesn't need a shot at the title. But if Ankalaev wins, he definitely deserves one. So yeah, that's what I think about that next. Kayla Harrison and Juliana Pena. This one is just obvious reasons. Kayla beat the number two. Juliana Pena is now champ off of a robbery. Let's make this fight. Let's have Kayla as champ. Let's get Amanda Nunes' old ass back in here and let's have a little bit of little goofy, interesting things happening at women's bantamweight. That's about it with that. It, just the fight that makes the most sense. And yeah. Yeah, next. Okay. Jose Aldo. I thought he won. He lost though. Dominic Cruz hasn't had a fight in like 2.5 years or some shit. Give Jose Aldo and Dominic Cruz a fight together. They're both goats in their divisions. Either number one or number two, both of them in each division. Set up a matchup. They're fucking old. It'll probably be a couple more fights for the both of them. This is a huge fight. Don't put Jose Aldo fighting anyone lower in the rankings. That's insane. Besides Dominic Cruz hasn't fought anyone. I don't know what he's waiting for, but if he's waiting for anything, I would think it's this. So yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. And I would like Jose Aldo's chances. In this fight, Dominic Cruz is good, but Jose is like actually good at this point in his career, and Dominic Cruz is like veteran good. He's like veteran. I don't know how to explain it. Like he's good as a veteran. I think Jose Aldo's like actually good. Like he could go on a belt run. I'm so pissed that he got the decision against him. He didn't lose that fight, but I think that's a sick matchup. Next, Delidze's next opponent. I think that it should be Paulo Costa. So, Delidze beat Kevin Holland. Weird thing that happened. He's still a win. Still a TKO. Paulo Costa is having some bad luck in his recent fights. He's very entertaining though, and I'd say the UFC would want, at least I want also, Paulo Costa to have some momentum back. I think this is very winnable for Paulo. I think this is a very interesting fight that could get really wild, and I think it would be a good matchup to make. Marvin Vettori and Brendan Allen will probably be made since there's beef there. They fought in like a casino or some shit. So that'll probably be made. I don't want to see Delidze fight Cannonier or anything like that. I think this is perfect. I think Paulo needs to fight down instead of getting so many opportunities up for some reason. And yeah, I think this is opportunity for a very wild, exciting fight with some brawling and some stupid punching. And I think that sounds like a lot of fun. And I'm picking Paulo in this matchup, but yeah, I think that's fun. And then for Kevin Holland, I think rebook Chris Curtis. This was the fight that was going to be made before Chris Curtis pulled out. He's right at the edge of the rankings. Chris is. Kevin Holland is coming off an injury. They're now both on injuries. They're probably going to come back around the same time, I would think. I would think they would come back around the same time. Maybe Chris Curtis is a little bit more ready than Kevin Holland. But just rebook this fight. It's still a cool fight. It's still interesting. It's going to be a striking fucking brawl, probably. I don't see Chris going for a lot of takedowns, or I don't see him being super successful, so it'll probably just be a brawl of good chins and interesting, striking matchup between two people that have very different styles. And I'd say, yeah, just rebook this fight. It makes a lot of sense to me. Next, Buckley. I don't think we should shoot him up very high yet. I think we should give him one more middle ground fight. I think we should give him a fight against Sean Brady. Because Sean Brady is good. He just beat Gilbert Burns. But there's a little bit of a welterweight jam. And it's either Sean Brady versus Buckley or Sean Brady versus someone like Shafkat. And I don't want to see that. That would be gay. I would like to see JDM beat him, but the thought of Sean Brady wrestle fucking JDM makes me want to cry. And I think Joaquin Buckley versus Sean Brady stylistically is very intriguing. I don't see Sean Brady being able to grapple fuck this short tank of a man. And I see their striking being pretty like Joaquin has the edge, but it's decently even. And I think this matchup would be a good way to knock out one of these people up here, and then we have a solidified top 4 or 5 that are like all kind of there for a title. One of these two needs to go, in my opinion, from that discussion. Then we'll have Shafkat, Kamaru, JDM, one of these two, and Ian Gary. And I think that's a perfect little split in Leon. 6. Then we can match up all those two, pair those fighters up together, and have a big welterweight brawl for the belt. I think that sounds good. And then finally, we have Stephen Wonderboy's next fight. I think it should be not MVP. I don't think it should be MVP. I think that fight ends up being boring. Two karate stances, two karate style fighters doesn't always make for a super exciting fight. It can make for a boring point style fight as well because they don't want to commit and they'll just be bouncing around. Also, I don't like that for Wonderboy very much. And I think MVP has more interesting fights against a little bit more interesting people. Not more interesting people. Steven's super interesting. I think MVP can welcome a contender. And I think that Steven should fight one of these two fighters. I think you should fight the winner of Luque versus Nick Diaz. Because it is... stylistically, they're both fun. I think Stephen Wonderboy should fight down the rankings. I think if he's going to fight, he's going to fight a couple more times, probably. What the fuck? My shit glitched. But either way. What the frig, dude? Whatever. My thing glitched. Doesn't change anything. Stephen Wonderboy versus Nick Diaz is super interesting. They're both old. They're both veterans of the sport. That'll make for a fun striking battle. Him versus Luque, same thing. Both fun. Both old UFC fighters that will make a super fun striking battle. It just makes sense to me to have these, to have the winner fight Wonderboy. I think Luque is going to win. I think make that fight. That's fun. If Nick Diaz somehow wins, this fight is huge. Super fun. Super cool. And yeah. That's about it for that. I don't know why it glitched so weirdly. But Steven versus the winner of one of those two. I think that's super interesting. But yeah. I think that's about it. Those are the matchups I want to see next on this card. I'll see you soon.